Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Alright, some of the things I did this week, I made up about, 15 pounds of corned beef. It's really salty, but it's really super tender, and it is, let's say it was a chuck roast stock. It was 3 large pieces that I got, and I put them in there with a mixture of put in about 3 or 4 cups of soy sauce roughly, and then I put in a bunch of water and some spices, a lot of salt, and let it sit for 72 hours on this hot plate, which happens to be able to set it to very perfect temperature. And I put these heavy blankets, towels over it to keep it at a steady temperature. And so it made really good, well seasoned corned beef. These 4 cucumbers you've seen last week, but then these 7 here plus another that's still out on the vine are new, so now I should have 11 good sized cucumbers this coming week, maybe a few more before I get them all together and pickle them. I opened up the volunteer garlic downstairs, and between the whole cloves and the seedlings, I got pretty much 37 potential new garlic plants to plant downstairs. I am waiting on getting some information from the county extension. They wanted to try to send it as an internet message for some reason, and I can't log into it, so I'm going to call them and harass them about that, because I didn't want it as an internet message. I was hoping to get a printout. They're probably just trying to save money. But anyhow, so let's go ahead and go outside with that. Besides, my mom's going to want her radio back on, and she's going to have her microwave beeping at me here. So let us move on outside. Really nothing massively changed out here in the greenhouse, so we'll skip that this morning. I did some loads of laundry, which some people say, well, we do laundry all the time. Well, for me, I do about a load of laundry every, I don't know, 6 months. So for me, that's kind of a... But then again, I guess being the kind of person I am, I don't really fit in to the normal society in that way. I take forever to get my laundry clean, but the way my laundry gets dirty, once it gets to a certain greasiness and combustion quality, and then it stays that way for months on end. All the babies are generally healthy. Of course, Gretel here is not super healthy, but she's got these little, you see the little lumps behind her ear by her jawline. We don't know what that is, but Gretel. Yeah, she's had a rough life. Her sibling, her brother, was really big and strong, but she's small and frail, and if she hadn't been bred, she'd be in better health. But, well, I don't know that we are going to be able to do much with her but get her back in health and hope for the best. Since this tree broke, it's still breaking apart in more pieces. I've actually had to cut more of it back over here. Sorry about the spinning of to cut the vine back here, because it was snagging Mom's hair when she'd get in there. It's funny, I'm 6 inches taller than her, and I don't run into it, but she's running into it. Don't know how that works. So I've been watering my plants. Oh, to skip the plants for just a brief moment, see I had to recharge the air conditioner on the thing, and it made a major difference in how cool the air conditioner is. That works really well. And it's still got enough for at least 1 or 2 more uses. So I'm pretty excited to have gotten that and getting that. I'm very pleased. I caught a raccoon yesterday. It's one of the cages over there. It's over here. And I took it out to the National Forest and let it out, which is about 15 miles from home. This tomato plant has 1 tomato still, one fairly large one. I dusted everything because a bunch of tobacco caterpillars got all over everything. I ended up killing 6 tobacco caterpillars that were wiping out some of the plants. There's our pretty little golden yellow cherry tomatoes. I think there were more of them this morning since I caught the raccoon. See how much water I have flowing in here. And that's because this thing really sucks up the water, especially in hot weather. Here's that other cucumber that I have to pick yet. There's some fingerlings on here. Hopefully I'll get Mom some littler ones. She didn't like the big ones. They're tougher, a little more bitter maybe. She just likes the little ones. So, like, here's a couple fingerlings right here that should be up the right size in a day or 2. It only takes a couple days to go from once they pollinate and set till fingerling, and then a couple more days until they're quart size. So you gotta watch them carefully or they'll jump through the size that you want them to the other one, and then a couple days later they'll be ripe enough to become a solid gourd, become bitter and full of seeds and not. Well, I've eaten cucumbers like that. A lot of people don't like them. Now over here on this side, oh, I sifted some more of that dirt that I'd gotten from downstairs to put it over on the strawberries. We'll look at that here in a moment too. This one, the best I know, still has only 5 tomatoes on it. There's 1 down there, there's 1 up here, and there's 3 in there that I know of. It's only got 5. And again, I dusted these at the same time as I dusted the others. Over here, I've got a few that are starting to turn orange. Hopefully, by having gotten rid of the raccoon, I might not have so much fruit robbed from me. Although I don't say that squirrels might not come in. I just hope that the dusting will make it taste bad and they'll say, yuck, that's terrible, and go away. This thing, I don't know how many fruit it's got on it. Now you can see up here where the caterpillars were tearing the leaves apart here, eating them all. So it did suffer some damage from that. So unfortunately, the wildlife getting out here. I've got some little ultrasonic noise makers I need to put out. They came in the mail. I need to build up a little power rack to put them up. The peppers are still growing taller. The 1 pepper I've got right there is still, forming. But I've got a new flower right here, and then it seems there's a new flower somewhere else around here. I'm not sure where now. Maybe it's right there. And then hopefully there'll be some more. This thing probably needs more phosphorus. And if so, then I need to get in there and put some phosphorus on it. I just haven't done it yet. Now the strawberries, they were suffering from lack of soil and lack of moisture, but since you see the lightness of that creek bottom soil versus the darkness of that compost, and also there's new growth right away. So partly the soil is there to retain moisture and partly there to fill in the gaps where the pots weren't settled all the way in, which allowed more evaporation. So it seals off evaporation, has more physical mass, and at the same time gives more nutrients for the roots to find to go ahead and grow, and it holds more moisture for the plant to recover from the dry shock. This side, closer to that drip edge, has more growth because the minor amount of condensation that's falling on it seems to be enough that it goes just far enough for that one row of strawberries, but not far enough for all of them. Even though it drains to this side, their roots apparently aren't deep enough yet to get down that far. Don't know if they ever will be. The surprise lilies have almost completed their second term over here, the second round of them, and they don't seem to be making the third round. They're all over the place, anywhere that the surprise lilies would be, down on that ridge and out by the flower circle. But they're not as abundant in flowers as I'd hope. Of course, the big sunflower patch, and I call it a big sunflower patch not because the flowers are big, but because it's a big patch, up on top of the hill there, is still blooming with great vigor. We'll get near it here in a moment. Now, I was working with that mower like crazy this past week, and every time I make one run it breaks, or half a run up this far. So very frustrating. It's just tearing itself apart. It's a bad design, but I shouldn't have bought it. You know, learned the lesson a little late in life. But when we get up here, we'll get another pop-up shot of that of those sunflowers up there. And like I say, they cover a couple hundred square feet of the ground with flowers up there, and down the hill some. Pretty hardy breed of flowers, so they're fairly static in their brilliance. Some of them are going away. I think they've come to the end of their season. I'm not going to go downstairs and take pictures of the stuff downstairs, even though there's probably some late season flowers coming up, partly because it's hot. These things are just starting to open up. They're struggling with the heat. We haven't had rain in a couple months, but despite that, they're trying their best to go ahead and open up and flower. And I got to keep an eye out now for blister beetles. Again, the grapes up in this tree are, if I can get them in focus, there you go. They're trying valiantly to produce fruit. Hopefully they will, but I want to try to bring all the grapes down lower, but to do it I need to keep them where the goats and the deer can't reach them. This thing has lost pretty much most of its fruit because of the fact that either the hot dryness or the goats eating the limbs and branches off of it have really affected it adversely. I will just say the gentian is trying to recover from having all its tops bitten off earlier in the year. Now, getting down to the big problem, this machine, if you look, you see this broken spot right here, and right here. So I welded all these together, and it just came right off the edge of that and snapped again. So I'm going to try to weld the whole thing all the way around, inside and out. I'm going to put some my angle iron reinforcement in here somehow. I'll figure out where to put it, probably run it down through here, pocket it just enough to clear that nut, weld it down through here, and then weld it up on here. So let me see, what about this bearing? Well, if I need that bearing out, I'll worry about that at the time that I have to worry about it. Because for now, I just want to keep the thing, because you just run it up and all of a sudden, kabang, it blows apart on you, and suddenly you don't have a mower anymore. You got pieces of a mower, and it ain't gonna work. So Big Red's back over here at the moment because of the fact we haven't had any violent storms to worry about trees falling, and I haven't gotten any super fresh, recent, new stuff to. So I've got some waiting for me, but I haven't gotten it. So I got again another old refrigerator core waiting for me, and an exercise machine, and some an old cart. It's a garden weight cart like this one over here, but it's completely missing all of its wood, whereas this one is missing its wheels mostly. Some of its wood. I need to fix them both up, so I have two carts. And then that's pretty much all the big ticket free stuff I'm supposed to get. Somebody was driving down the road by us with a big pile of steel on the back of a truck, and some of it looked to be in really high quality, good condition roofing. And I thought to myself, I sure hope they're not selling that roofing as scrap. They could be, you never know. Stuff's worth a lot of money. That's why I bought every bit of it I can get when I can. And if I had more money, I'd advertise that I buy roofing, you know. But I'm not in a position to do that yet. If I was, I'd probably have a mountain of it here, because I'd use it for all my fencing. I'd use it for more buildings. If you're wondering, we're going down here to see the blackberry. That's going to be the end of the report. But so since I've been putting a cage over it to keep it protected, it's got just a tiny bit more new growth, and it's suffering from the heat because it's out in the direct sunlight. And I need to water again, since where it's at, it doesn't have deep roots. It's dependent on me watering it for now. That's pretty much really everything, because no real big reason to update that the cherry plums are still making cherry plums, since they're not making them edible, since they're bug bitten. I mean, not edible for I suppose you could eat them, but, and you can see bunches of them here on the ground where things have rooted through them, and they're around here. Again, there's another one. Oh, it doesn't look like it's been bug bitten. Oh, yeah, it has right there, a little dot right there. But sometimes I even take a chance and bite into one that's been bug bitten. Sometimes they're sweet, sometimes they're still astringent from the tannins in them. Till they fully ripen, they don't really get very sweet. Well, that's pretty much everything that's happened this week. Went to the doctor, and got a doctor examined my surgical point and said that it's healing nicely, but see him 8 weeks or so in the future, which is going to be around the Feast of Tabernacles, so it'll probably be 9 or 10 weeks before we can do the follow-up. But I feel that the healing is really kicking in, and it is really healing up very good, very well. And he gave me some kind of mentholated medicated cream that really relieves the pain at the point of the surgical contact. Makes a huge difference. And so other than that, a lot of medications they prescribed for me were either poisonous to me or just pointless to me. But I did get them before I knew what they were offering. Oh yeah, this little baby pecan here, I've been keeping it watered. I don't know if it's getting much drippage from the drip line, but I soaked it in water yesterday, and so it's got new growth. It almost died from being out without any moisture on the roots, so I got it over here where I could tend to it, keep an eye on it so it wouldn't die before I forgot. Just hope the goats don't come in and eat it. So here's where I was working on a mower, and I had it on its side, and I forgot that I had the thing way apart, and oil spilled on the floor, so that's what that's all about. And even though I did sweep the floor, it's as big a mess as it ever was. But boy, it is nice and cool in here compared to outside, and having this fan here. One of these days, I hope to get that big old fan and put it in here somehow so I can chill this, ventilate. It won't really cool anything, it'll just make it feel cooler. We'll put that right there and let it sit. And it'll either shrivel up or it'll ripen up, and then I'll try to eat it in a week or so. And so unless something comes along and says, ooh, that looks good, and chomps it for me. This area is pretty much, for the most part, I don't know if I can, those aren't free. Let me see if I can use something to poke at it and see just how wet or dry that is. That's pretty dry. Yeah. I'll eventually have to dig all that out and put the drain in there. I wasn't trying to do real work there, just kind of seeing how dry that was. So other than that, there's really not much change around here yet. When big change happens, it'll be pretty evident. Plus I went and got some Chinese-made headlamp type cameras, and I'm going through the software to make certain it doesn't have any spyware on it. Then I'm going to go ahead and use that to, because being on my head, it'll be able to point at everything I'm doing dynamically. And as you see, I still have enough steel back there, not counting that steel there and that steel there, so and that steel there. I've got enough steel to do quite a few projects still. This right here, because it's only single planes today, 2-plane like angle iron, is going to be for a special fence stretching mounting tool. I'll make 3 of them out of it. Anyhow, so that's everything that's happened over this past week from my last Sabbath report, and nothing really changed big enough to really show anything. So I will end it here and say, again, Shabbat Shalom, and we will see you next Sabbath with more updates.